Have you ever wanted to make those perfect crunchy biscotti at home? Well, today we're tackling this amazing Niagara peach and honey almond version. And hey, if you've ever felt a little intimidated by the idea, stick around. We're going to break this whole thing down step by step, and I'll show you that anyone, and I mean anyone, can master this classic Italian cookie. Just picture it for a second. That perfect companion for your morning coffee, right? A crisp, golden brown biscotti that doesn't fall apart when you dunk it. And like this says, they're not just for you. They make such a thoughtful, beautiful homemade gift. That perfect texture, that amazing flavor. That's exactly what we're aiming for today. And you know what? It is so much easier than you think. Okay, so every great baking project starts with getting your ingredients together. In this first part, we're not just going to run through a list. We're going to talk about how flexible this recipe really is. This is where you can start thinking about how to make it totally your own.
At first glance, this list looks pretty standard, right? Flour, almonds, honey, and of course, those beautiful fresh peaches. But you might notice panko breadcrumbs on there. Kind of weird, right? Well, there's a good reason for it, and it's all about getting the perfect texture. These are our building blocks, so let's look at some of the choices you've got.
Let's start with the foundation, the flour. Now, the recipe calls for bread flour, and that's because it has a bit more protein, which gives the biscotti a sturdier structure. Perfect for all that dunking. But what's really awesome about this recipe is how easy it is to adapt. If you need to go gluten-free, a 1-to-1 gluten-free flour works perfectly. No complicated math, just a simple swap.
Okay, so what's the deal with the panko breadcrumbs? This is our little secret weapon for texture. These Japanese-style crumbs are way lighter and flakier than regular ones, and they create these tiny little air pockets in the dough. The result? A lighter, crispier bite. But hey, if you don't have them, no worries. Dried tapioca can give you a really similar effect. See? Super adaptable.
All right, our ingredients are all set. So now we're moving on to section 2, the mixing and the all-important first bake. This is where we get our hands dirty and turn all those separate ingredients into a real dough. Let's get to it.
Our star ingredient, the peaches, need a little special treatment. After you dice them up, we're going to roast them at 350. Now this step is so important. It doesn't just soften them, it caramelizes all their natural sugars and makes the flavor super intense. And you see step 4, that juice that collects on the baking sheet? Oh my gosh, do not throw that away. That is liquid gold, pure concentrated peach flavor, and it's going right into our dough.
Next up, a really quick but totally critical step. We're going to toast the almonds in a dry pan for just a few minutes, maybe 3 to 5. Seriously, don't skip this. It's a total game changer. It wakes up the oils in the nuts and just makes that nutty flavor so much deeper and more complex in the finished biscotti.
Okay, time to build this dough. First, sift your dry stuff, flour and baking powder. Then stir in that panko. In another bowl, whisk together your wet ingredients, the eggs, vanilla, and that precious peach juice we saved. Now you're going to slowly combine the two, mixing just until it starts to come together. Then, gently, you'll fold in those amazing toasted almonds and caramelized peaches, and finish it all off with a nice drizzle of honey.
So now that our dough is all mixed, it's time for the first bake. Your oven should be ready to go at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The dough's going to be a bit sticky, that's totally normal, so don't be afraid to flour your hands a little. You'll just shape it on a baking sheet into a long, flat loaf, about an inch thick.
And into the oven it goes for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now you're not looking for a deep, dark brown here. What you want is a loaf that's firm when you touch it and has a really beautiful, light golden color. It's still going to be kind of soft on the inside, because the real crunch, that comes next.
We've baked our loaf, but believe it or not, it isn't biscotti yet. Now we get to the most important part, the secret that actually gives biscotti its name, and more importantly, its signature texture. This is what creates that perfect, satisfying crunch we all love.
So we've got this beautiful golden loaf, right? But it's still soft, kind of like a regular cookie. So how in the world do we get from this to that perfectly snappy, crunchy biscotti? What's the secret?
Well, the secret is right in the name. Biscotti literally means twice baked or twice cooked. This second bake, at a much lower temperature, is all about slowly drawing out every last bit of moisture. That is what gives us that incredible crispness and, as a nice little bonus, makes them last for a really long time.
So here's the entire game plan. You see, bake number 1, that's at 350. Then there's a super important 15-minute rest. Trust me, if you try to slice it when it's too hot, it's just gonna crumble. After you slice them up, it's time for bake number 2. And notice how we drop the temperature way down to 150 degrees.
This is the key. We're not really cooking it anymore, we're just drying it out for about 15 minutes. One final rest, and they'll cool and get perfectly crisp.
So now that you know the core technique, the all-important twice baked, we get to the really fun part, making them your own. This recipe is an incredible starting point, a blank canvas really. So in this last section, let's talk about how you can put your own creative spin on it.
You are absolutely not locked into using peaches. I mean, think about trying dried cranberries and orange zest in the minter, or maybe some chopped apricots. You could easily swap that reserved peach juice for orange juice to get a brighter, citrusy flavor. And, I mean, come on. For the ultimate treat, you can't go wrong dipping the completely cooled biscotti in some melted dark or white chocolate.
And this is exactly why this recipe is such a keeper. Once you master it, you can just swap out the fruit to match any season. Strawberries in the spring, peaches in the summer, maybe apples and cinnamon in the fall. It's just endlessly versatile, and it's always, always delicious.
So there you have it. You know the secrets now, the magic of the twice bake, how flexible the ingredients are, and the simple step-by-step process. So the only question left is, now that you know how it's done, what are you going to create? Get in the kitchen and happy baking.